quite a long time, building your own PC was a fun project, and it could even be a money saver. I've personally built well over a dozen PCs for personal use over the years, and for friends, relatives, and even for coworkers. You could, pick your parts, avoid the OEM junk, save some money, and possibly end up with something better than the equipment sitting on the big box shelves. It was an interesting hobby for me and many others, and without getting overly nostalgic, it was fun. But the math ain't mathing quite so nicely anymore. Graphics card prices today? Oof. High-end CPUs? Not exactly budget-friendly either. Memory and SSD prices fluctuate wildly, usually upwards, depending on what data centers and AI companies decide to buy that quarter. Meanwhile, the average pre-built systems from companies like Dell or HP or, gasp, even Apple, aren't actually that overpriced anymore once you factor in their bulk purchasing power. And that's the part nobody really wants to say out loud, that DIY isn't automatically the value play anymore. And while the money aspect isn't always the main thing, it does make it harder for entry-level players. At the same time, something I think that's even bigger is happening. For a huge percentage of people, the main computer isn't a computer at all. It's a phone. Devices like the iPhone or Samsung Galaxy handle messaging, email, banking, shopping, video editing for social media, gaming, navigation, basically everyday life. A lot of younger users don't even own a traditional PC or laptop unless school or work forces them to. And statistically, mobile internet usage has already surpassed desktop globally. The so-called post-PC era that Steve Jobs famously talked about over a decade ago isn't theoretical anymore. It's rapidly becoming the new normal. Now layer cloud computing on top of that. Services like Windows 365, Google Chromebooks, and various virtual desktop platforms are pushing the idea that your real computer doesn't even live in your house. It lives in a data center somewhere. Your device, your laptop, tablet, or maybe even your phone, is effectively just a terminal with a screen and a keyboard. In that world, spending a couple of $1,000s on a custom tower starts to look optional. And here's the uncomfortable question for sometime hobbyists like me. Are we becoming the niche? Because from a mass market perspective, the incentives are shifting. Hardware cycles are longer. Local performance matters less for everyday tasks. Subscriptions replace ownership. Cloud services scale better than consumer hardware. For gaming and high-end creative work, sure, local machines still matter. We're not editing 4K video on a phone comfortably. Not yet. But for the average person, a mid-range smartphone plus a cheap Chromebook-style device gets the job done. And as internet speeds improve and remote compute gets cheaper, even more workloads migrate off local machines. So maybe the real story isn't just PC parts are too expensive. Maybe it's that the entire idea of a personal computer, something powerful that you own, upgrade, and control, is slowly being replaced by access to computing. Access instead of ownership. Which, if you've watched this channel before, you know is a bit of a theme I fret over. I'm not saying the hobby PC is dead. Enthusiasts will always exist. There'll always be people who want local power, control, and independence. But economically, culturally, well, the center of gravity is moving. So I suppose the question becomes, are we okay with that? I'm kind of bummed about it myself, but let me know what you think in the comments. So that's another video in the can. If you found this interesting or informative or even funny, give me a like and maybe even subscribe. And remember, be excellent to each other.